So for the past couple of years, the Leica community has been entertaining the idea of a Leica M body with a viewfinder or a digital EVF. Obviously, we always have the purist side that said Leica would never do anything like this because of the heritage and everything else. There are so many indications that point more towards this camera actually happening before the 2025 year ends. And in this video, I've compiled 10 reasons of why this camera is imminent to happen. Let's talk about those 10 reasons and let's open up the debate. Let's go. Now, before we continue, I want to ask you for the first time, I think, in this channel, subscribe to this channel, like, and comment, because I realize that the vast majority of my viewers are not subscribed to my YouTube channel. Now, this gives me a confident boost to continue to produce videos like this one free of charge to you, and it also tells the YouTube algorithm that they should share this video with more great viewers like yourself. So thank you for subscribing. I think the first indication that we have about this upcoming camera is going to be if you look back to Leica's new lens design, some of the redesigns for the Summilux and Summicron, for example. So right here I have the 50mm Summilux, and this one has a close focusing distance of 0.45 meters. So this is beyond the rangefinder 0.7 meter limitation. Lens released in 2023, as well as this 35mm Summilux that can close focus even closer at 0.4 meter. And Leica did not stop there, because we also have the Leica Apple Summicron 35mm that can now close focus at 0.3 meters. Now this is extremely close, and it is very hard to focus, that close without having some sort of screen or external viewfinder to focus with these lenses. So zone focus at f1.4 with a 50mm is very, very challenging. Now, the options that you have today are gonna be a couple. One, use those lenses on a camera with a screen and maybe use the screen to frame your photos. What happened is that for people that have to wear glasses, looking at the screen like this may actually throw off your prescription and not allow you to see very up close. That's what's happened to me, for example. And my most favorite method to focusing with these lenses with close focus is going to be via Visoflex. Now, the Visoflex also introduces some other caveats. I like to use the thumb support, so I have to remove the thumb support. And to be honest with you, I do not like the look of having a camera with a Visoflex. It looks and it feels like an afterthought. So I think that lenses are being one of the clearest indications that Leica is getting ready, this line of lenses, for what's coming up with the new Leica M11V. Reason number two, Leica has already broken the never rule, and they have done that multiple times. Now, when digital cameras started to become popular, the Leica community could have sworn that Leica would never tap into digital. Leica will remain this company that was known for film, and they would not change a thing. But funny thing is that Leica was really struggling when digital cameras became very popular. And soon after, Leica introduced digital cameras. And of course, at that time, there was an uproar created for those people that felt a little bit disappointed of Leica selling their soul to the digital world. Now, look back last year, for example, and Leica had one of the most profitable years, and the profitability came mainly for their digital system. We also have heard that Leica would never put in-body image stabilization on cameras. Well, the Leica SL2 brought in-body image stabilization to their system. And when you look at a camera like the Leica Q, it is pretty much a combination of the SL technology with a traditional in-body fused into a camera that has autofocus, that has optical image stabilization. And on the Leica Q3, we also have a flip screen, a feature that has been very controversial among those purists that don't like to see the evolution of Leica, in my opinion. I actually really love the tilt screen. It helps me frame really low without having to dive on the floor. So this camera also is a good indication that Leica knows how to make a rangefinder-like camera with an electronic EVF. And right here I have the Leica M11 monochrome. I think that the execution, Leica has done it better than anyone else when it comes to this style of digital rangefinder-like type of camera. So when you take a look at this little window right here as well, and you take a look at a Leica Q, Leica simply would actually get rid of optical rangefinder and adapt an electronic EVF. And also when you take a look at the width of the camera, it's pretty much the same. So, and this video is sponsored by All Crown camera straps. Now take a look at this Trail Flex adjustable flat rope strap that allows you to go from 32 inches chest carry all the way to 58 inches for carry around the waist or even below. If you want to learn more about our products, go to allcrown.com, follow the link down in the description for 10% on your first order. Point number 3, heritage doesn't mean stagnation. And from the early days, Leica has evolved into what it is right now. And I think that that has been the main reason that kept Leica alive, because if you look back at some other companies, Pentax, Minolta, Olympus, and many other companies that are now gone or pretty much gone, that has been because they weren't able to evolve, or they got stuck in their ways, or their engineering team could not produce new ideas. Now, Leica is a company that evolves at a complete different pace than Japanese companies, for example. Part of keeping a heritage alive, in my opinion, is being able to pivot and evolve. And that's exactly what Leica is going to be doing with the Leica M11V. Keep honoring the legacy of the M system. Point number 4, and it is the simple fact that the older we get, eyes get worse. Eyes will never get better with time. And those that have been here before myself can testify of that issue. And I know a lot of Leica shooters that completely retire the M system because of their rangefinder limitation when it comes to vision. Focusing with a rangefinder with glasses is not fun. And I wear contacts, different prescriptions in my eyes. When I go with my camera, I remove one contact so at least I can compensate. I have astigmatism in one eye and some other problem in other eyes. So an EVF will be the solution for those photographers that may have a lot of M lenses and they're thinking about retiring their M bodies. Once again, Leica doing this would actually continue to support the legacy of the M experience for those photographers that now have a vision that has been compromised. Point number 5, an M system with a digital EVF would open the door to a lot of new younger photographers. And younger photographers love the M experience or the thought of shooting with an M body, but I do know a lot of young photographers that have given up. You know, a lot of people on YouTube and Instagram email me that they have given up because they tried it so hard and they much rather get a shot than miss a shot. You know, there's a lot of practice that goes to becoming really proficient with rangefinders. At the end of the day, for a lot of people, it's all about the shot, you know, not so much about the experience. And if Leica would actually give us a camera like the Leica M11V with an electronic EVF, we would actually get both. We would actually get the ease of previewing what's in front of us with a bright EVF and also enjoy the manual experience that offers a Leica M11, for example. Point number 6, I want to expand on the Visoflex. And we have it here again. And as you can see, we are drawn to these M bodies because they're just beautiful, they're minimalist. But the moment you throw one of these on top of your Leica M, it looks just horrendous. Take a look at this thing. It looks so ugly. You know, it throws off completely the ergonomic or the design philosophy of the camera. In fact, your rangefinder camera stops being a rangefinder because now you have that Visoflex in the center at the top, making your camera look ugly. But you know, a lot of the time it is what you have to use to get the job done. And Leica has done several versions for the different systems. You know, we have a prior version before. I think there are 2 versions before this one. This one is the version 2. The resolution of the thing had actually improved from the prior one, but still it's not the best resolution out there. I'd much rather have something like on the Leica SL3. And I think that this is the time for the evolution of the Visoflex to be inside of the M body. Point number 7, let's actually charge more for less. And that has been, unfortunately, Leica's philosophy for quite some time, right? Leica M11D is more expensive than a Leica M11P. And there are many examples out there. So putting an EVF would actually remove a lot of mechanical parts from this system. Also would actually solve a lot of the misalignment problems that you have with optical viewfinders. You know, they get dirty, they can get foggy and all that stuff. Would also actually help them to get less service inquiries, you know, in their department and focus more on sales rather than repair. So when it comes to streamlining their process, their manufacturing processes, and maybe being more profitable, you know, removing all the optical and mechanical components from an EVF may actually also be a good financial decision for Leica. Point number 8, I think the Leica Q system does prove that Leica can do this, and probably better than anybody else out there. Now, when the first Leica Q was announced, it was received as always with a lot of controversy, but soon after, this one is one of the most popular cameras for Leica. It has become a good moneymaker for them, and we're talking about a camera with a digital EVF, a camera with autofocus, and now with a new version with a tilt screen. So Leica is familiar with this technology, and putting an EVF on a Leica M system would be a very familiar technology that they were proficient in implementing. Point number 9, social media, forums, YouTube, and that's pretty much where they feed off for a lot of the products that they release. They listen to the consumer, and the consumer is loud and clear on forums. So there is a demand for it, and Leica has been done a pretty decent job at listening and delivering to the demand. And point number 10, Leica has pivoted hardcore when it comes to digital evolution. In fact, how many Leicas have we seen this year or within a year? Leica Deluxe 8, Leica Q3, SL3, Leica M11V, Leica M11D. Now we have the Leica Gloss Black Paint, we have the Leica Safari, we have the Leica 100 Years Edition. I mean, in just 1 year, they launched a bunch of Leica cameras, and a lot of them, they were M bodies. So they're running out of options to offer to people. So this one is going to be the ultimate Leica, in my opinion. Whether some people may agree or disagree, this is my strong opinion. So now I would like to know your thoughts about what do you think about an M11V with an electronic EVF, an M-body electronic EVF. Now, do you consider that Leica would be betraying their heritage? And let me know in the comments down below, but here it is my conclusion. In my personal opinion, I think that contrary of betraying their heritage, they'll be supporting and empowering their heritage, bringing the system to more upcoming younger photographers, and a lot of the time allowing those older photographers that have been there before, way before me, continuing to shoot with a rangefinder experience, using their M lenses and enjoying the cameras and the bodies that they love. So I'm actually losing my voice, guys, so I'm gonna wrap it up right here. But I tell you what, subscribe to this channel, like, and comment. I'll see you in the next video.